No, 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 no.
It's your story. So far, I am you realize that there are still some people who are generational with the participate leader. And like the first person that actually, the first one that and she did that to me. I wish she said it to me down because I think that's
Mas lebih?
so
I say no more.
and I just want to talk
Want ek mis een van my audience member. Daai is so goed ek.
especially sometimes get from the mom. That's why
Nee, daai's net reg.
because you get expenses. Because after Sunday you have yeah, some days you can have to pay and that is crazy. It's also an issue because my brother refers to himself as only an eldest son. So what he's saying, oh, are you devaluing us? So my sister says,
Second. Seconds away. Seconds away. Seconds
my sister says, we have never wanted to speak in Mama Papa's big milestone. You know, son, what my dad did. My dad was very much because he grew up with a single mother, not with four six of children, who was out of four eight children, which was friend lose one. Yeah, I was one of the lose one. So my dad was a twin. Most of those twins are gone now. Then there's one set of twins. There's one set of twins they now 18, and then they are the youngest and one of the singles. But his mother was well, let's say she was a house seven with them. I'm trying to figure out the two walk away from home. Like, they would think, you know. So that is how they were raised. My dad's pieces were putting there. And now everybody asked why, and I said, because they didn't have it. Like, no, what about the is who raised all those children. And so my dad has this thing about it. So we don't need to say it's the word. It was like, so my dad asked me, but mom was very much her son, her son, her son. So it was that he was a very strong person. On it was one, and then he used it with us. So he built us up here. My sister. Are you getting there? Fantastic. I think it's time. You live. I know, I know, I know, I know.
Right.
Sorry.
Ah, sure.
No, 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 it's not that kind of thing.
Live. Just live op elke platform, jong. Ja, het was so fijn, hè. Ons is op Facebook. Julle is in die background. Julle kan. Hulle hoor net vir julle. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and little ones. In kan nie glo hy sien vir Anke Bradley hier in lewende lywe nie. You good? You know who I am? Dankie toch. But you know who she is now. Who is she? Who is this? No, he's not shy.
Not saying.
Oh yeah, well, see, I told you he's not shy. I'm not saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Good morning to. I call it breakfast with the stars, but my wife and I had a conversation the other day because there's people saying, "Can you come and bring the artists for lunch? Come and bring them for the weekend. Come and bring them everywhere." And I promise you, I didn't think that it could get better, but it was. So maybe I need to change the name a little bit and figure out when I get amper banner gaat maak met breakfast with the stars. Dink ek, maar as ek gaan vir lunch, ek kan ek ook breakfast with the stars and yeah. But I want to say welcome. I want to say thank you for supporting this initiative that I have. The reason why I started this initiative was because I felt that you as the audience don't know us as the artists. And then what happens is you get irritated with a character and then you attack us. And you say things to us that is actually hurtful. It's hurtful to us because we're thinking, okay, no, ek speel seker 'n character baie kwaai, but really, how can you say things like that about me, the person? And I'm pretty sure if I asked you guys now, name any character that Brad Pitt played, you will not be able to tell me. But you know, it's Kasufa and as Uncle Bradley, that's what you know. But you don't know our names. If I ask you any character, the name of any character that Denzel Washington played, you will not be able to tell me. But you can tell me who Denzel Washington is. You can tell me who Will Smith is. You can tell me who Angelina Jolie is.
Jawaahier is a difficult name to say. So I understand.
I'll see her name as Miss Peterson or Mrs. Peterson, or you know, at least they put the time, you know, because it's important. It's important that we as South African audience members educate ourselves and the people around us and start setting precedents. We constantly think that we lag behind for the rest of the world. We are actually advanced. And believe me, I've lived in the UK for 15 years. I know. When I say these things to people, they look at me and they're like, "Ja, maar wat weet jy? Ek het daar gebly vir 15 jaar." Hulle noem nog 'n ATM 'n hole in the wall. Genuine. And you can go to a police station and they will say that to you. "Oh, you're looking for a hole in the wall." Ek het gedink, "Hole in the wall, wat is dat?" And you can Google it. Go on to Google and type in when was the first hole in the wall installed in the UK, and it will come up. Hulle sê nie is 'n ATM nie, hulle sê 'n hole in the wall of Google. So I rest my case. We had chip and pin before they had. Guarantee you. You know, I was there when they had chip and pin. Voor ek gegaan het daartoe, het ons al chip and pin daar. They couldn't understand that we knew about Chippington and these kind of things. But that was part of the initiative to get you guys to get to know us. And also so that when you see us in the mall, realize that we are normal people that have got normal things to do. And when we're in the mall, we're there to shop. We're not there to stand and go, ek is hier vir 'n foto session. Hallo. Kom harass vir my, stop vir my, skree vir my. Gaan na by die kant dan. Yeah, we were in Woolworths yesterday.
There was four of them wanting to take him on a date on the display.
Yeah.
And then I said, I'm going to do the next one.
Yeah, but I think that people think that when they see us that we have got absolutely nothing to do but stand around and take pictures and smile and a lot of shit also is. We've also got lives, we've also got kids, we've got grandkids, you know, and sometimes we tend to wanna also just breathe. And it's when you approach us to approach us with a bit of respect and dignity. That was my initiative and it's been going great and I think ek gaan nou op 'n bietjie minder praat. Maar ek wil net vir julle sê as julle wil toilet toe gaan, is net hierso om die draai is daar 'n deurtjie. Guys, you toilet. If you want to smoke, go outside and have a cigarette. This is as relaxed as can come. This is me catching up with one of my kiddies. You are just a fly on the wall. Okay? There'll be a point where I will, as ek moeg raak van praat en sy raak moeg van praat, maybe I'll ask you if you've got a question that you want to ask. Believe me, if my guest says I don't want to talk about it, we don't talk about it. I am not here to go, I want to know about that. No. This is me catching up and we are in a chat and you'll get to know us. Julle sal iets van ons praat, soms 'n klomp snap. You know, we talk about anything under the sun and that is it. You know, so that you can see that we are normal people. Alright, ek gaan nou sit hierso. Dit alles kos iemand my gaan sit. Oh, ek gaan nou my
It's okay. No,
Okay, dan sit ek hier.
No, you're
Nee, ek sal hier sit op die grond en dan sit
such a humble man. So down to earth.
Moet jy beskou nie.
No, for social distance. No, please have a seat.
Alright. Jawa.
Yes.
You know, wow.
It has been a while, 4 days. No, I'm joking. No, I know. I met Uncle Noel. No, it's funny. I met Uncle Noel on the set of Artist Play. And at the time, I was still working as a full-time social worker. And I was filming Artist Play in between. And I met Uncle Noel on the set, and it was my first time working with Uncle Noel and all the others, the new characters. I mean, not a lot of people know even that I was on Artist Play because I think it's funny to put beauty at the space. Maar regardless, it was op stel van nogal 'n klomp daar. And in those days, we have the green room where actors just sit and talk and whatever. And Kate and Uncle Noel sometimes got lost. That was what she didn't get to do. Because there was so much talking and so much conversation that was happening. And then when I moved over to St. Western, Uncle Noel was next door to St. Western. It was just that reminder of we were there when it started. We were there when it started. So for me to be here today is so great. It's a moment.
Well, the fact that you are here is because I've seen you from that time.
You talking about
Hello, you did a lot of things with your dad,
Yes.
you know, and although I've never
What is that? I didn't know.
Say yeah.
Oh, okay.
Although I never had the pleasure of working with your dad, you know, I've been in his company a number of times, and there are times when I've seen you there as well. So yeah, from
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
that time.
Oh, this
Yeah.
is good. Yeah.
In fact, it was I think you got introduction to the Edinburgh Festival.
Yes, I was too.
Yeah, and you were there.
I was there. So
Yeah.
Lukman and Emo and JD were all my babysitters. because they were the youngest in the cast of districts at the time. They were about 11 or 12. So I was 3, and so the closest to my age were them. So yeah,
And alam mo sa
yes, yeah.
not that someone
I couldn't be contained though. To be honest, I couldn't be contained. Edinburgh wasn't ready for me.
yeah, I think yeah that's why I didn't go to it.
No, we have, yeah.
I'm like oh I love it. If I go there, they're gonna ask me. "Do you remember that? Is there a 3-year-old
Running around.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, hiding behind the house the wall. Yeah.
So tell me, when you born?
Where was I born? I was born at St. Monica's home in Georgia. The Monica's home.
Okay.
St. Monica's, where I believe all the floral women go for.
Yeah, video story though.
Yeah. So in Burkham, I was born there.
Yeah.
Yes, I was born there on the 15th of January 1986.
Well, okay. School.
Oh, so I went to Habibia Primary School in Rylands, and I was there from grade sub 8. Sub 8, yeah. Sub 8 till sub 5. Sub 8 till
What do you want to need? Yellow. Look, it's like you guys are here having breakfast and post.
No, but the thing is, it's a bad thing because when you're on set, I mean, I don't know if you're on set, you cannot move props while dialogue is happening. So, for example, while you talk, if somebody's talking, they can't see one because it's cut. So I was now delivering dialogue and I cut is still, I'm waiting for cut. I'm waiting for cut. Yeah, I'm waiting for cut. No, but it's okay, we have a take 2.
The latest thing is he did one take. What is one take wonders?
One
We
take
are that
wonders.
good.
One take
We are that
wonders.
good.
Okay, no, I used to be a one take wonder, and then my knee started to show underneath, and the cash was not showing. We're gonna do another take for consistency. Yeah.
Look, I remember when I was in Christmas, then we busy shooting something. Then and for those of you that don't know, sit your phone op silent man of af. Wat gaan met julle? Ek wil aan met julle phone.
You mean touch and
Oh, maar sit dit op silent.
Cut.
Yeah,
Cut.
let's
Yeah.
like
Whose
to.
phone was ringing? Whose phone? Whose phone? Can you please leave the studio? Yeah. No, I'm not joking. The one day, no, so one of us, the one day, we had a scene and it was my phone that was ringing and I'm so unprofessional. Why? Whose phone is not just my phone?
Right?
Yeah.
If you're talking about personals, I was floor manager for personals. So the floor manager needs to make sure that everything happens the way it should happen. And you wear a set of headphones. And everyone, every department speaks in your ear. So jy moet eintlik my department, how would like shuffle that's the box. The box is where all the mixing and stuff stands, especially when you're recording live talent. So they've got various cameras, and with Personals we have 8 cameras. So they would switch between cameras as they would go. So you would hear the director saying, right, stand by camera 3, and camera 3 is coming to you in 3, 2, 1, then they come to camera 3, then they would say stand by camera 1, stand by camera 8. But my job was we recorded with an audience. And now from the audience, and now we take an audience is a phone. Okay, but as it upcan, then we have to cut. En ek het mooi vriende gehad. Ja, dan en as ek so auntie daar so sit daar so met haar baggie, nou sê ek dat sit die baggie van die stoel in. Baggie is uit. So it doesn't come on the camera en ons besig om te record jong. En dit gaan aan net crazy staan. Sit daar so sê sy praat en die volgende oom you know the old Nokia. Nou hoor ek hier in my oor someone backstage that would like to turn off his phone. Maar nou hoor ek nou kyk ek as ek antie sê so.
Maybe it's my
Nou
fault.
sê and we on the floor I don't say cut, I say hold. So you hold exactly where you were busy with and nou gaan ek dit. Is die bonus daar? By antie sê so. Sorry. Nou sit sy nou moet sy net phone afsit. Sy's later.
Right, because the whole audience is looking at you.
Yeah.
All the cameramen are looking at
Kyk
you.
jy, antie panic. Ek is later. Ek gepreek. Terwyl mense hier skree met oor en sê was hy moet die donder se ding afsit. En I'm like, sê maar relax. Sê maar, is dat jou dogter langs sit? Sê dit vir haar, miskien moet sy nog afgesit het. Ek ken nie die ou phone sê. Like, okay. And eventually the phone went off. So yeah, as the phone afgaan, ek het altyd gesê, as jou phone lei nie, ek wil antwoord het. En ek sê altyd, daar's niemand hier nie, soek maar goed, jy het nie gebel nie. Yeah, so you went to Habibia?
I went to Habibia Primary School from sub 8 till standard 5, but I missed standard 4. I was in a car accident in standard 4, and I broke, it's a long story, but I broke this bone, the femur, the longest bone in your body. It broke in half and it actually exited the body.
Also the hardest,
the hardest, the strongest, yeah. So the oncoming car came in and my leg was between the seat and the door. And so it broke that. I broke my pelvis, 2 of my ribs, 1 punctured my lung, lost feeling in 2 of my toes, scarring on the face, on the scalp, jaws of life cut me out. I was declared dead on sight. And knowing my dad, no, my father was first of my parents to arrive, and I said, no, so the reason I wasn't inhaling was because my lung had collapsed because of the rib. So then I went to Red Cross Hospital, and that's why I'm an ambassador for Red Cross today. And from there on, I went to Maitland Cottage Orthopedic Home for 8 weeks because I had pins and things, legs hanging in the air, had to learn to walk again, all of that. And but the beautiful thing of that experience was I was the only English-speaking colored child in the hospital, and all my what was I colored? Okay. Okay. Mixed race. So yeah. So I was the only English-speaking colored child in the entire hospital. So you've got in the hospital because it's a recovery unit, it's a rehabilitation facility for orthopedic surgery. So people born with any form of silicis, immunum, silicis. They've expanded even. So car accidents, those kind of things, kids born with elephantitis or what do you call it, vacuna, but it's actually a clinical name for it. Yeah. The club, all of that. So they were all in the ward, only English speaking. No, because when you walk across camera, also you must say cut. So, and okay, it's extra. And so because I was the only English speaking colored child and it was a bubble baby, so I learned to speak Xhosa. So now can't the positive sometimes Xhosa because all of my mom was speaking Xhosa, so I learned to speak it that way. And that's so that's you gotta survive. And my father was in London with catching the Kings when I was discharged. So the first day after being in the hospital for 8 weeks, just in the recovery because I was in Red Cross for a period of time, and then I came home and on the first day, nothing's gonna get me down, nothing's gonna. So I stood on the leg and broke it again, and yeah. So then I went back for another 7 weeks. Went back for another 7 weeks. But than the other. But thank you to Professor
Can you
Kelly
be
Martin.
impressed?
What? Don't make fun of me. I'm tripping.
They had disability.
I can't apparently I can't apply for that. I thought
They're
about
cooking.
that. I thought about I can't know how.
They're cooking.
Yeah.
Oh, for those of you that don't know, I'm completely colorblind. I cannot see color.
I'm in South Africa. Yeah, joking out that
And,
though.
and,
Yeah.
and the best part about this is that I do lighting design, and you're supposed to know color for lighting design. But in the UK, in the theater where I work, every organization wanted to work with me because I did the best lighting. That's what they said. And everything, man, they can color CD. What will you Oh, die. Like die alright. That is precies wat ek wil hê. Record. Yeah. So, but yeah, we can't.
So we do what we do, and then I went back to 2005. En toe daarna, sorry, toe gaan ek hoërskool toe gestuur vir 'n nuwe land. En destyds was dit 100% Afrikaans, was nie partially. Ons dink dit was partially omdat so dit. Okay, so dit is vir julle snaaks, hoor. So dit is vir julle snaaks, ek verstaan. En ek het mevrou dit al het nie baie oor gevra, maar toe ek op hoërskool was daar miskien 5 of 10 grade. En Afrikaans was nie, I don't know what the word is, but it wasn't inclusive. It wasn't. So ek onthou, ek het met 'n groep se klas gesit en iemand het gevra, nee maar jy kan nie dit sê nee, jy praat dus denklik, dis nie jy, dis jy. Ja, ons praat denklik. En toe was ek amper nie gebrainwash nie, maar vir my om te oorleef in hierdie omgewing, dat leer om Afrikaans standaard te kan praat, om weer te kom. En as die afkondigings aangaan en hulle sê byvoorbeeld Jawaahier Petersen, nou as ek sê dat became my name, Jawaahier became Jawaahier, the J became a J, the word became a V. And then Petersen became Petersen. Het dit gebeur, maar die snaaks dat ek het geantwoord. So Jawaahier Petersen, dan moet asseblief aanmeld vir ons kantoor. I didn't move, I didn't know what it meant. I just understood now. So I thought something is burning, it's a fire thing, we've got the drill, we have to evacuate. Maar again, daar was geen ander keuse nie. Toe ek besluit, okay, dis standaard Afrikaans, dit is hoe dit veronderstel is om te gepraat te word. En toe die einde van die matriek toe kry ek
Jy praat baie mooi.
ag, maar dankie. Maar en toe kry ek die totaligheidsbeveel. Want jy make a plan. Jy make a plan. Ja, jy survive, jy doen wat jy moet.
Nee, ek sê nog steeds, hy was 'n pastor, want jy getroud is getroud.
Ja, maar jy kan alles nou.
Ek wil net vir jou sê, nou, by my laerskool, en dit was Central Park primêre skool. Dit is presies dieselfde gespel soos Central Park in Amerika, in New York. En een jaar het iemand van Central Park in New York gekom na ons primêre skool om te kom sê, hi, hulle so wonderlik dat ons
Nice gosh.
Nee. Ons het er nogal so oor gehad, man. Maar ons het geleer om so Afrikaans te staan.
Standaard Afrikaans.
En selfs toe ek hoërskool toe begin het, ek was eers by Jawaahier nommer 2, dit is nou Excelsior, maar ek bly vir miskien dit dan toe jy daar gekom het, toe ek Excelsior, toe ek daar was, toe ek Jawaahier nommer 3. Hulle het nog nie besluit op 'n naam vir die school.
This is called Jawaahier number 2.
It was Jawaahier number 2, and we didn't have a matric class. Because what they did was they started the school and you had standard 6 and standard 7. And then the next year you had standard 8 because the 7th just went on for the next year, and then the next year those that passed went to the next year. So we didn't have a matric class, nothing. And so if you look at your matric class, would normally be in the athletics, would be your open.
Yeah.
We took second place in the school's athletics that year without having an open team. Ons het twins gehad, wat cricket wat dit sê. Ja, ek het hulle gelag van hulle was. Maar hulle was ouer as ek.
Oh, hulle was
Hulle was amper open.
Yeah. Yeah.
I said, you let me put the rest up open.
Yeah.
Mind you, wat jy nou ons praat met Afrikaans.
Ja, maar dit is waar vir my nou terug te kom nou na hoërskool. Ek het nou baie nie probeer as vir daai skool gewees. Ek het dit tuis as vir daai skool gewees. Dit was groot name in Afrikaans gebruik. Ernst Broke wat nou 'n skrywer is op sy poster. So dis hoe my Afrikaans in my kop klink. As ek in Afrikaans dink, dit is hoe dit klink. Maar toe ek die rol van Kashfa gekry het, moet ek hom aangepas het. Van Kashfa is van die Kaap. En dit was vir my, en ek kom van yes. Nee, ek was 'n onderhoor. They weren't ready for a brown Muslim. Hulle was nog nie ready vir daai nie. Hulle het just a bridge up with too far. Maar ek was wel die voorsitter van die PRL. Ja, ek was wel die voorsitter van die PRL. Verteenwoordiger raad van die leerders.
Oh, the SRC. Ja. Student Representative Council.
Omdat dit Afrikaanse hoërskool was, was nou die PRL. So, ek moet ek nou aangepas het vir Kashfa. And it was that experience that I think made me embrace the dialect of Afrikaans, wat ek nou onlangs spesifiek geleer het deur professor Adam Hart, wat nou besig is om die Afrikaanse woorde op mekaar te sit op 'n onlangs onderhoud te doen. That it is a taal op sy eie. So today I'm a very proud ambassador for the dialect of Afrikaans. Very proud. Fun. If you look back in the history, en ek is so trots op my kyk met die history, dat ons het 'n groot deel, we played a big role in the development of Afrikaans. Nou moet jy van my sê, hoe ek Afrikaans gepraat het, as ek my ouma's wat hy woord vir jou gegee het. Waar het jy pisang gekry? Ons het hy woord vir jou gegee. So vir my sê, hoor ek uitgespreek nie. So I'm getting rid of what chest is getting hot, maar
Ons is warm.
Yeah, both is getting hot. But so that's why today I'm a very proud ambassador for Afrikaans. Yeah, and so from then on I wanted to study drama, and I very proudly, because my dad was saying, you're going to UCT. You're going to UCT because our people couldn't go to UCT in those years. So my goodness, couldn't go to UCT. Maar my kind gaan UCT toe. So jy gaan UCT. Yeah, you are going. And I wanted to study drama. And then I went to him and I said, Dad, I want to study drama. And I vraag vir my son, nou, wie gaan vir die betaal? So,
I can hear it.
Jy wil dan
I can hear it. Daddy, I said, jy gaan nie betaal vir jou om drama te gaan study nie. 6 maande van die jaar jy werk en 6 maande van die jaar jy nie werk nie, dat word jy by net volledig. En plus my kind, did you forget? Just talent, just music. Wie gaan vir jou 'n rol gee? Jy gaan die Kegel speel, jy gaan die flower celle speel, jy gaan die maitries. No. Go and study
And
something.
you never thought of saying to him, but you are the creator. You should create the show for me.
No, but that was not my dad. That was not my dad. When I went for my very first audition for TV program my very first TV program that I auditioned, I had to convince him. And he said, okay, fine, I'll take you, but I'm going to sit in the car. Because I want, if you get the job, if you don't get the job, I want it to be because you weren't good enough, not because you can't explain it. And if you do get the job, I want you to get it because you were good enough and not because you can't explain it. So I went to go and study law. I went to UCT to study law. My elder sister is an attorney. And then I think by the second semester, to the second ethics, philosophy, and art, also the family said, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I just needed a course to fill that gap. And that time I still had my Nokia 5510 BC, that big, before the thing, that big one. And the handbook of all the courses, and the lady in the counter there says, sorry, you the last one at the back there, after you were closed, so you got to decide what your course is now, because I'm going on lunch. And now the pressure, and then you fall alles in my hand, and then I picked up the handbook, the SWK 104, yeah, I'm going to take this one. And it was the introductory course to social work. By the end of that year, I moved over to social work, and 8 years later, I have a master's degree in clinical social work, specializing.
Welcome to my life.
Welcome to my official qualification is a master's degree in clinical social work, specializing in psychotherapy with a specialist area in adolescent and family therapy. Yeah. You can
Wait,
clap
wait,
it
wait,
now.
wait. Hello,
Yeah.
hello, hello.
Yeah.
Ek weet die breakfast is lekker daar so. By. Hallo, die birthday girl se tafel. Oh, by the way, is hy girl se birthday, ja? Die birthday girl se tafel. Luister julle wat hier gebeur. Nou hoekom julle nie ander klap nie? Julle eet so lekker dat julle vergeet het om aan te klap.
No, it's okay.
Dis alright.
No, I'm from Muslim background. I understand when food arrives, the world stands
Stand
still.
still. No.
Ja, maar
Yeah,
Woordspel is ook
yeah.
ek wil net vir julle sê, dis tussen ons of guys so hierso as julle wil aan klap, dan kan julle aan klap.
Yeah. Fine,
Ek is nie sterwe nie.
yeah.
Ja.
I think it's one of the most rewarding courses, but also the busiest course.
The absolute.
Absolutely.
And the thing is, Angelina, at the time when I was studying it, because then I had to go back to my father and say, actually, I'm not going to do law anymore, because that was disappointing. You can do law, that's your primary focus, but you can do drama as an elective
Yeah.
or something. It will be a monster though. So I had one undergrad drama elective course to my name. That's all I had. That's all I had. This Tosa was one of mine, so I did it at university level as well. That's all I had. And then when I moved over to social work, there was no space to do any more drama courses. And I went back and I said, okay, fine, I'm not going to do law anymore, Dad. I'm going to do social work. My word, sê die man, ek het vir jou gesê, jy kan nie drama study nie, want jy gaan nie geld maak nie, maar jy social work gaan study. Wil jy arm wees met hom? Wil jy arm wees? And it made no sense because in those generations, in those times, all social workers did was remove children, and that's all we did. And we do dirty work, and we do for the poor. You work for poor people. That was all that we saw social work as. And to be honest, for me as well, that's the people that stand with tins at the malls to collect. That's all I thought it was. So it made no sense to me. Only after my dad died did I realize why God chose me to study social work. Because the year that he had passed, because remember I didn't start first, it was my second year at UCT, but I had to go first year social work again. You do trauma counseling, you do grief counseling, you do all of those things. So through my courses and through my, as you start practicing in your second year already, I realized how I get why I'm studying social work. Now I get it. And then when I went into practice and I worked at a boys' high school first and then a girls' high school, for 11 years, and working with these young people, it makes
That
sense.
makes sense.
It makes sense. The difference that you get to make in the girls' lives, with watching them go through their hardships and being on this other end of know what you're going through. I get it. I get it. Now I know why. Then it didn't make sense. Then it didn't make
I
sense.
don't think people
No.
understand social work.
No, I didn't. I didn't. And also the distinction between social work and psychology, because the hierarchy is psychologist is the step above,
But it's
and Janice is social work.
but silent is sure.
Sure. And then when I worked, I did my master's placement at Princess Hospital as inpatient student. And I formed part of the multidisciplinary team, the psychiatrist, with all of it, all of it. And then I made the choice also is that we change the narrative. We change the narrative. So the psychologist can give her input, and I can say, yeah, but I understand what you're saying psychologically, but if you look at the systemic environment of this child, the child is acting out not because of mental disorder, but because of the system of chaos that she is living in. So that is where. So yeah. So there I was, if I could hear well, and then yeah, but so changing the narrative, changing the narrative. Yeah, changing the narrative. And I was very, and you can ask me, so I will never ever be able to call it in good. It's never going to happen. So just know that, mevrouw, it's never going to happen because we work. No, not today. It's not going to be today. Not going to be. Because I started at Wanda Girls High School on my 22nd birthday. I started at it. So I was the young. And looking at the time, we get introduced, and always, as children, we call the teachers by their surnames. We don't. We don't. To this day, they still start members. I would never call how they first go, but also because of the background, you don't call through me. So listen, let's feel my feet. It's marble sound for skin. So you don't. So you don't. So um,
But you're not going to call me auntie either.
no, no. It's always going to be the
Nee,
throw.
nee,
It's going to be
nee. Sorry,
something.
Ingrid. Sorry, ons het when the two of us met officially
Yeah.
on Adam's Day, and we had a bit of a chat, and she said, no, 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 I'm still at the school, etc. And I said, oh, okay, which school? And she said, and I said, oh, so you work with one of my good friends, Ingrid, and she's like, look at me, oh yes, miss,
Yeah.
miss,
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Not to be, not
and
to
I
be,
was
not.
like, ah, ons het baie gepraat en die jong dame hier langs aan my het soveel respect voor.
Yeah.
Even if I have to use my show now to say to you,
Yeah.
she has got so much respect for you because our conversations about you was how amazing you were and how much respect she had.
Oh, that's supposed
And
to be
that,
fake, which you make me. I know everything about you.
yeah,
Yes.
Respect for her.
Thank you. No,
and
thank you.
and
Thank
it's
you.
and it's
I love you.
and I love the fact that we have young people in the industry um, within our communities that still grow up with the old values, you know, of of giving respect where it is due, of giving praise where it is due, and of taking the moments and saying, you know what, this is a learning moment for me. Let me learn as much as I can from our elders,
Yeah.
from people that have treaded the board. Sy vir my baie goed gevra ook
Mm.
in terme van acting in
No,
terms
yeah,
of
because I'm not a trained actor, because I'm not a trained actress. That's how I got through as a career. I asked questions. I went to people. I don't know the listening. Onto the knees, Jill, until said, they get hulle ore afgepraat because I asked, how do you do this? How do you do this? Okay, explain this to me. Okay, how does that work? How does this? Okay, I'm running through my dialogue. Explain this. So it is funny. And that I think is also what I did with Arma Uncle Now is also you've been in this industry for so long. Just help me understand this. Why did you make the choice to deliver the line in this way as opposed to doing it in that way, in that way? Because if you don't know, if you don't ask, you're never gonna know. And I think the sad reality of this younger generation, because I'm apparently a millennial and then there's Gen Z. So from the millennials is they've got access to so much information that the facade that they're creating is that they know everything. Because they've got access to information doesn't mean you know everything. And so the questions and asking and finding out and all of that, that is how I get by, how I got by. And I think one of the examples I think with the English is that in terms of society and the shifting and coming from myself coming from a previously Model C school environment and now moving towards a more inclusive and a more diverse school environment, but still making space for everybody's voice and still making space for everybody's identity and doing all of that. I think that is a large part um, of where the respect came because Mother Indian was one of those people that trailblazed to make the schooling environment inclusive, to make schooling environment by representation, by the representation. It does not compete about who loves Mr. more because it can be. Let us not. Let us not.
that
Let
one
us
love
not.
People, if I can say something, we salute people like you, AI. We salute people like you know. We salute what you are doing for society. We salute what you are standing for. It's not right, you can pick up yourself.
No problem.
Ons hou ons is trots op hulle. Dit maak ons hart bly as ons hulle sien. En die net om te sien is fucking, maar om te weet dat kan nie met die kultuur het maak ons geweldig. As ons nou sien dat
Yeah.
so julle maak dit van.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No. And thank you for saying that because I was I had then taken over the senior position as the social worker. I was the head of the social work department when I left, And I mean, but during that time, while I was at the school, I had my two children. I had myself. That school, watched me grow up.
I was at your wedding.
I know, I know. I still have the cookbook that I got as a gift. That I got as a gift. Well, a cookbook, a recipe book.
Oh, a recipe book.
Yes.
Not like a book about cakes.
No, 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 no.
Extra.
Yes.
Kijk, want Susan nou ook
No,
Oh,
a recipe book.
oh, oh.
Yes.
Or,
So,
was your cake in the shape of a book?
particularmente because
That's all right. Is your breakfast all right? Like your
and Shukran Uncle Noel for the effort of making it halal. I must say, Shukran, because I just no Shukran for doing that, and I have to pause and take a moment because ek het al met die Loes Bokkies of Jan Loes Bokkies van from the band and sang the band. Met baie feeste. Uncle Noel also dat sing it. And also baie close on that. I'm just checking. Um, I'm just checking. That being the only Muslim myself, the only Muslim people there often go into PSN because I eat knickknacks on bread or the garnish of the tafel. Because if you go there, as it Allah, and everyone does that boring Leon Schuster joke, yeah, always is low. It's not funny 2021 anymore. So coming to a place where you are accommodated or included or acknowledged or whatever, for me is beautiful. So thank you for making the effort of
But
making the business halal.
for me. It's I grew up with the concept that if you are invited guests, you need to accommodate your guests that you invite. Because you can't invite someone to your house and then you say, "Kom naar mijn huis toe." Dit is cool. Oh, it's allergic to Kool-Aid. Sorry. Well, tough.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
he's and you know, you, my mother had that thing about dark visitors was uncooked was cooked a decent food. So we accommodate like this, and
Like what's
sometimes
the gesture of it's the
sometimes it's
gesture.
difficult, and I try and call up my guests and say, listen, are you? Is there anything that you don't like that you don't eat? Please tell me. Like sometimes, I think it was Jill, Liebenberg, that okay, she's getting vegan, took nooit out for breakfast. And he I'm very exclusive my breakfast. It's like, I forgot to tell you I'm a vegan. Um, what do I do now? Luckily, I could get her. I think they gave her a vegetarian pizza, and she was like, "This is really nice." But it's one of those moments where you go, "Oh crap!" And like you said, festivals and things like that, they don't sometimes cater for us.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes on sets as well.
No.
You get to a set, Friday,
Mm.
oh
Oh, it's going liquor, retro liquor, then you're eating the bread.
yeah,
You're eating the what do you call it? The garlic roll on the side is such a so it is for me also indicative of where it is going, where the inclusivity where it's going and if I have to be the one unfortunately that must make the but I don't eat that, then I'm gonna have to be the one that you know that
but,
says it.
but you see,
So
we don't. I think we don't ask these questions, and we don't say this is a requisite.
this is what I
This is
prerequisite
what I
I do.
prefer.
Yeah,
Can you do this for me?
yeah.
Like I,
Because if you can't, I'll make a plan. I really don't have a problem making a plan.
but I remember you said to me, Uncle, no, even if it's just me,
Yeah.
and ek dink toe by myself, nou nooi ek die girl en dan sit almal hier met hulle bacon hier reg rondom jou en maybe I should
No, 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 but I don't know. Let me. I don't know. So my mother was raised Anglican. My mother. My mother reverted to Islam when she married my father. So the whole maternal side of my family. So I know how great they are. We didn't know from my praat om 'n koortjie te sing nie. Ek juig nie. It is no, it's not a joke. I promise you. When it's weddings or funerals, whatever, the first thing we do is we check the booking. Do I know this one? Yes, I know. How great is our God? What stem are you taking? How great, how great. You taking that stem? How great. Okay, we did it. You can go, Pastor. You can go. Yeah, we know. We know. So Christmas.
So ek wag nou, maar
So
dan kan sy
Christmas was there was a halal section in our family for us for Christmas. Hot cross bun tyd. As die
Was daar-
Muslims eerste
kan-
om die hot
Nou,
cross
wow,
buns
wow, wow.
uit te koop.
Nou gaan ek 'n vraag
Yes.
vra, né?
Yes.
Now I'm gonna ask this question. Sê dit nou daar by
Uh,
as 'n section nou vir die Christen. Because I used to have a problem at school. Nou sit la barang almal my Muslim chommies, al my Muslim onnies,
Ja.
hulle sê by die skool nie. Ek moet by die skool wees.
yeah. Yeah.
Christmas, dat julle dan almal by die
Because julle public holiday. Ons moet leave en sit vir 'n barang. No, I swear. No, it is. No, it is.
From before.
Oh, from
From
hot number 2.
Yeah.
Nee, van primary school daar was ek al
Central Park.
kwaad.
Central
Ek is
Park.
like, as ek by die skool
Central
kom, sy toe daar geweet al, as dit la barang is nou, dan jou onnie is ons nou Muslim. So sy kom skool toe, dan is julle so 3 klasse by een juffrou. Want halfte van die laities is by hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
But you know what is beautiful now, Uncle Now? On the sector side Ooster, it's a mega boost. All different colors. Maar daai wit anti-gaan van was het baie. So how far we have come. How far we have come.
But I must also say
Ek sê net vir jou, daai wit anties is net
I attended. We could go home earlier
Uh-huh.
because our classmates
Were
were always telling the people in the UK
Yeah.
invited us
for lunch.
for lunch, so we would all go.
Yes.
And there was a lot of experience along the way because we hiked sometimes, but
Yeah.
we could.
Yeah.
So we didn't. Yeah, so when I explained to my colleagues that we don't have these issues with Muslims
No.
because they were part of our country. We sat next to them, it's our
Families,
communities, it's our
our
families,
families,
and stuff
it
like that. I don't know what you're talking about. You have created this
Yes.
animosity or this resistance
Clarity.
because we, as our kids from Melbourne, and still understand enough of it,
Yeah.
say we can go. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
I think I remember my late dad, and my dad is gone this year 23 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. And I remember that my dad, as die ouens begin plaza, dan sê, hallo, onthou net boebe aan, julle stop hier.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
and boebe for me is very sweet.
That's
You know, and I understand because it's halfway through past,
Yeah.
and it's to give yourself a reward.
Yeah, but
a
also to
reward.
go into the for the upfront.
Yeah, but
the end of the year. Yeah.
it was like
But it's a traditional
someone
thing, yeah.
someone said to me, it's like a reward to say that you've reached halfway, and to give you a boost to continue the rest of the fast. And now it's very sweet, and I was like, this is sweet for my friend. Oh, yeah, dan bring almal mos vir my pa 'n
Different.
pakkie.
So the ene sit die condensed milk only, and this one doesn't put almonds in, and this one doesn't. So there's a variety. No.
Nee, maar
There's a
kyk hier,
variety.
my pa het alles opgekry.
That's a-
I just looked at him and I'm like,
Yeah, no, but that is the beauty of it. And again, I think this is what I said to you today as an ambassador for building bridges.
Oh, yes.
For I think I have this vision in my mind of God sitting up there, looking down upon earth and saying, but I never said that. But I never said that you mustn't be friends with him. But I never said that you can't. So in my mind, and the God the God that I really don't think he's sitting there putting people in boxes and telling. And because my mother was Christian, and I've got not a book that doesn't preach love thy neighbor, that doesn't preach oneness, that doesn't preach. So if people sit there with device, with a motive to divide, with a motive to separate, it's my soul switches off. My soul switches off because I don't understand. If I, for example, I needed blood. Okay. You want some orange juice? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I needed blood.
You're right. What's that back here?
No, it's fine. It's not fine.
What is fine?
Um,
Anyway, it is next time.
I needed blood. Nobody asked, is it a Jewish person's blood? Is it a gay person's blood? Is it a rich person's blood? We took the blood. Because at the end of the day, we all bleed. We all have the. So that is where I am as a human being, and I think what I stand for is no man, no man.
I think there's a lot of emphasis, you know, and I do understand that certain certain I don't even want to say race groups, certain people were disadvantaged by certain people, you know, and it's created a situation where ons almal soek ons 'n boksie wat ons inpas. Ja, ons het almal koei bloed in ons, ons is almal koei saan. Ooh, ons het nie koei bloed in ons nie. Wat se bloed het ons? Oh nee, ons is almal die. Nee, ons is almal die. Because we are looking for a box to identify with. And when I say to people, I'm not looking for a box.
Yes,
I am an individual. Love me, hate me, that's your prerogative. Ek gaan nie kwaad wees omdat jy van my haat nie. Because I don't have energy to waste on trying to rectify whatever you feel.
mm,
You know, I know that I've done nothing towards you to make you angry. So if you want to be angry, gaan hou your anger issues daar aan die kant. Moet dit net nie bring by my nie. You know, and my energy is mine. I'm going to utilize my energy to do good things, to live my life as happily as I can, and that's it. You know,
yeah.
I don't need a box to fit into.
But at the same time, I'm very proud of my Cape Malay heritage. I am a 10th slash 11th generation of Indonesian Javanese slaves at the Cape. So our surname when we arrived from the Indonesian side was Bukhari. That became Bihadi. And then we were bought by Dutch owners, and their surname was Peterson, and then it became Peterson. So it was by total my headphones. I'm very, very proud of yeah. But again, I don't think when we're all standing at the pearly gates, there's going to be a queue for you and a queue for you and a queue for you and a queue for you. I don't think I could be wrong. I could be, but I don't think up there
The same rules are gonna apply whether you white, black, Muslim, whatever
I
you
think
identify.
were you a decent human being, I think that is what's
I-
going to separate.
You know what? Our daughter that lives in the UK, so she's in London. And when she was at school, she studied. They do religious studies, so they do all religions.
No, it's more. It actually comes down to cultural studies.
Cultural
Yeah.
They
studies.
call it religious studies,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they're cultural studies.
Okay.
But she would come and she would say to me, I think I'm more like a Buddhist, you know, because this is what I think and that is what I think. And then she'll come back and then she'll say to me, you know what, I've now read up on Islam and I believe in this and I believe, and what I realized is that every religion that there is teaches us to love.
Just to let
Just to let
That's
you know.
love.
Yeah.
But we as people go, huh? Maar as jy nie aan my religion glo nie, na, dan as jy die eerste en jy gaan nie die hemel sien nie en jy gaan nie. Excuse me?
Yeah.
The Bible, I always say to people that the Bible teaches us and priests. En hier sit 'n predikant op some brits hierso vandag, sê maar nog nee. Maar predikante leer vir ons only God can judge you. En dan kom daar kerke en dan sê die kerke, maar ons gaan vir jou dig, want jy het verkeerd gedoen. Hold on. That's like a double meaning there, want jy dan nou gesê. And I've always said, any religion should say, we know that you've done wrong, but here we are giving out love. We are just here to love you. We love you because if we love each other, we will fix. There was a song that my wife played to me the other day, and I heard it. She put it in a my vrou was TikTok. Julle weet mos my vrou doen TikTok nou. Sy sample soos 'n TikTokie. Sy TikTok heel dag en ek feature en almal op TikTok en ek het my eie TikTok. But there's a song that says just smile. If we just smile and forget all of our troubles for a while, you know, get through the darkness because we know that you'll find the light. And it's like, that's all we need. If we smile with each other and we just embrace each other and love each other, can what's a government's kind of you know?
Yeah.
I always say every war was started
By a man.
not just by a
That's another
man,
conversation.
not just by a man,
That's a conversation for another day.
but it started because of religion. You know, want daar moet iemand wees wat sê we are the chosen race. You know? But yeah, okay, that's
That's a topic we can talk about for a long time.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. Ek hoor jy sing so koortjies. Miskien Jonathan, kry maar daar koortjies en ons gaan daai koortjies. Ek sê was, dis nie Jonathan vir my. No,
Yeah.
So and things are going good at Southwestern.
Things are going really well. I'm really grateful. It's my second year. So I put in leave at work for 6 weeks that Kashika was supposed to be. Gee. Sorry guys. Just a little difficulty. Okay. So Kashika initially had a 6-week grow. She was supposed to come in, take my Muna's cooking show over, and that was supposed to be it. 3 weeks into my contract, I got called in and they said they want to offer me a permanent role. If I'm performing still up because I auditioned for that show 4 times. 4 times I auditioned for that show. And at that point, I had a senior position at work. I didn't think long and hard about it. I resigned. And here she is, two years later.
Nice.
She's still there.
But ek het ook Southwestern gedoen. 4 jaar gelede. Ek het so ingekom. And the strange thing with me doing Southwestern, right? I was literally back in the country a month. Just got an agent because when I terug in London, I need to now just try and pick up things. And my agent dacht met, luister, hulle wil hê dat ek kom audisie vir Southwestern. Nou vraag wat is Southwestern? Ek het geen benullie, ek het nie lees nie wie nie, ek kan dit nie afford nie. What is this? No, it's a very nice city. This is before Ironsley even came on the scene. Jy sal dit like, nou gaan ek en ek gaan audition. En ek sê, This is me. En nou Ephraim het vir my geaudition. Nou sit Ephraim daar, hy sê Ephraim, Mr. O, ons is eintlik excited dat Mr. O terug in die land is. Nou dink ek, I don't know this young man. I have got no clue who the hell you are. You know, the fact that you are excited that I'm there. Okay. Kom aan, dankie. Ja, en ons gaan aan. En ek ry terug huis toe. En op pad terug, Jonathan Swart was my agent. And as I'm driving back, I get a call. No, they'd like to give people a call back. There's two people that they want for this role. So they want you to a call back. Nou kan ek terug. Ek dink toe by myself, wow, dis bly dat ek 'n call back het. You know, like, I'm just back in the country a month. I expected to struggle for like at least 6 months to get work. Gaan terug. Doen toe die second, ek praat in 'n waar sê hulle? Nee, die ander persoon kom. Doen die ding. Ry op pad huis toe. Mr. O, they are offering you the job. They're offering you a 5-week job on Sequester. This is what they're offering you a week, but I said to them, okay, so senior actor, I'll weet hulle nie wie ek is nie, hulle moet vir meer betaal. It's like, hello, ek is net happy dat hulle vir my sê, yeah, okay, like, ja, ek het dit tyd gesê, maar nou vra ek baie geld. And it was a big surprise to me, and at that time was Ian October, you know, played by Almal, ek het dit nie verstaan nie, maar almal haat vir Ian October. En die rol was Ian gaan tronk toe en Ian word by Selma. En ek is die dik van die tronk, niemand weet dit. En ek moet vir Ian wrestel in die tronk. So Ian kry uiteindelik sy verdiende loon.
Ja.
As 'n lekker Afrikaanse woord, verdiende loon. Jong, en ek begin nou vir Ian wrestel en ek wrestel vir Ian en ek wrestel vir Ian en ons skiet nou al 3 meter. Kyk, en by sy poster, ek weet nie of jy nou nog steeds so die skiet episode daar.
Yeah, the 1.5.
Yeah.
We do 1.5. So we
Yeah.
filmed 6 episodes a week.
Yeah.
When we came back from level 5, sorry, we were closed for that 5 weeks to level 5. So when we came back, we had 1 week of episodes left with taking it to an 8 episode. So for example, yesterday we shot the 28th of December's episode. Yesterday, we shot the 28th of December. So when we came back on level 4 with permits to be on the kind of lockdown, we had a permit. We were shooting 7 to 8 episodes a week. Start at 6:30. We wrap at 6:30 to make curfew at 8 o'clock and on a Sunday. To get 8 episodes, we are now, I think, back because we have to have about 2.5 months ahead of time. We shoot 2.5.
Nee, maar hier wat was vir my nou loop ek in die bord en nou net ek daai mense van klassies September. En ek het gedink een is die daddy, maar jong, het mense vir my uitgestel. Hoe kan jy by een so 'n hard time sê jy dat maak jy nou baie? As jy kwaad word, of as jy nie kwaad word. Wil jy nie moet 'n pak slaap kry? Of wil jy nie moet 'n pak slaap kry? Want elke dag hoor ek, dan gaan hulle op een kant.
Dan gaan hulle
Een van al die nonsens aan en hy kry nooit.
Yeah.
It's I think it's the same with people like on Arensville, people like Wendy. As jy mense my vra, dan vra hulle mense my, kan jy hulle net vir Wendy uitskryf uit die ding uit? Dan sê ek, en dan begin julle kwaad wees. Hulle is so bang, maar ons like saam nog gaan. You know? So yeah.
No, but it's a strange thing just because when I was a social worker, the patients or the clients would even never wanted to be seen with me. When we worked in the hospital, nobody wants, because if they see you with a therapist, I'm almost like that you have problems. So they never wanted to be seen near me. Near me.
Jawaahier.
Now people want to see me and take photos with me. It's weird. It's really weird. I sat on a plane, on a flight once, with an ex-patient of mine, and we didn't say a word to each other for the whole 2 hours. To Joburg. Not a word. It's Kenny Makani, because it's part of the confidentiality agreement. We don't know each other. For 2 hours, we didn't say a word to each other. Now, if I get on a plane, hey, we go. That's just, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite. Ako, basta ako. Vamos a hacer Simon. As China. As China. I'm still waiting to say with these. As China. Jay because Jay. Yeah. So it's a weird thing for me to get used to now.
No, but if people ask me, I said, Jay, then I say,
Yeah.
ja, het is mos ek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Die enigste ek wat ek ken,
Yeah.
dit is ek.
Yeah.
En dan dink ek, nee man, is China.
As Jay.
Dan sê ek, luister, is soos ek vir jou vra, is Jay.
Yeah.
Jay is mos Jay. Jay is mos nie iemand anders nie.
Yeah.
Is mos Jay.
Yeah.
And
It's a strange thing to get used to.
and the nice thing, oh, my vrou weet van die. As ek in 'n mall en stap en dan gaan iemand en hulle loop super by jou. Hulle loop en dan gaan hulle
Yeah, and that's all they do, eh? They don't say anything. They just
en nou you can imagine. Kyk nou hier, né? Maar gaan ek goed doen. Dis ek in 'n mall. Dis ek in 'n mall. Sometimes met 'n keppie op. So al wat jy sien is daai. Dan kom mense. En ek staan daar. Ja, problem. Now they go the voice. Okay.
Yeah, where
Hello.
it's going?
What-
Where's
what-
it going? Yeah.
Wat gaan nie aan? Ek was daar. Ek het 'n video gesien op TikTok waar die vrou gesê het, elke keer as iemand vir haar sê, "Oh, you so familiar," dan sê sy, "Yes, I do porn."
That's gonna be my new one.
Nou die dag as ek in die mall is en my vrou sê my, gaan kry hom met wie gaan kry hom met daai maak so. Nou sê ek in die winkel en ek gaan rond en ek soek nou die ding daar. Nou dink ek, waar. Ek is hastig, kry gou een van die girls daarso. Luister, hallo, kan jy vir my wys? Die girl is net so. Hup. Why do you look so familiar? Ek sê so, because of the phone en ek stap aan. Maar daai girl se gesig was like
Yeah.
Ek sê, do you watch a lot? Sy sê so, sy kon nie vinnig genoeg vir my stap na die ding. En toe ek sy sê so, yeah, we have this one and we have that one and that one.
Yeah.
En daar gaan sy weer weg.
Yeah.
Ek moes later gelukkig vir my kennetjie bestuurder van die winkel. Ek gaan nou sê vir hom, sien vir hy, ek is in Arends bly asseblief want sy bloedrooi geraak en alles. Hy is nog al 'n lekker een.
Yeah, I think I might
Give
do that.
you time, because all of a sudden people go, okay,
Yeah.
dus kan jy nou
Ja.
verder praat daar.
Yeah.
Let him come.
Yeah.
But there's some advantage in living in a small town because you have the local shops, the local store, the local Woolworths, it's all
Yeah.
in, like from Lavery down to N1.
Yeah.
That's where we live. So that's it. So people now know us.
Yeah.
They know me as the wife. Now.
Yeah.
So in Sparrow, has got many wives.
Oh.
But all of his wives send some stuff.
Oh, lovely. That's
Kind
a
of cool.
win-win situation.
Yeah.
Kind of cook.
It's a win-win. It's a win-win.
And then they ask,
Sometimes
did you give it? Did you give it?
Yeah,
Ik
yeah.
kan laten.
Ik kan niet als die pannenkoek langs het pad ook heel en sê,
I don't know what happened
kyk
to
jy
her.
soms gee hulle net een pannenkoek. Maar nou sit ek daar in kar en ek dink ek by myself,
No.
as ek mos die pannenkoek op ek sy weet mos nie hulle gaan pannenkoek.
Now, in Arabic we have a cut. So that was her cut. It was meant for her. So if you eat her cut, that's a good because the intention from the above wasn't to go to her. So if you eat it, you're gonna forstip. Can I just say at this point now, anybody I feel like anything that you want to know can be Googled these days. Is there anything specific that you like to ask? Because I like this
Ja,
intimate
wag,
vibe.
Sy het gesê, ja, my jou. Moet nie laat daai lippies op hier nie. Ek skrik nie by daai lippie nie. Ek het 3 dogters en kyk jy daar dan nog 'n dogter van my hier, 'n klein kind van my. Ek het so baie kinders nou. Hulle kom net, jy's ook een van my kinders.
Suddenly I became 10 years old again.
Ek is nie bang vir daai lippies wat so maak. Ek is
Yeah,
gewoon
but you know,
daar.
I have to remind myself all the time. Oh, just because means. No, it is. No, it is because of that. Your flick, your sit and your upstand king. You must know that. I
Ek kon
forget,
tannie
my son is turning 9 on Monday, so I'm sure I'm an adult by now. Like, at which point do I get to sit in the groot mens
At
tafel?
55, I have to tell them I'm a grandmother.
So I've got to wait so long.
No, I just.
Okay. So I can now talk about.
Ja. Ek wil gewoon net
Oh.
nou wat is dit wat jy?
I'm the lead. I'm Beyonce.
Oh.
I'm the lead.
Nee, wat ons doen
That also
ons wil
tell me-
Adele.
No, Adele sings songs about sadness.
Ja, asseblief, asseblief. Ons
Yeah.
het
So I will sing. Okay, I can know the
Okay.
And then also the choir, because at some point when the second verse comes in, just to take it to the next
Julle
level,
ready?
the choir must now.
Okay.
I gotta do, I'm not gonna work out the stemmer. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to
Stand up
you.
yourself.
Happy birthday, dear Estelle. Sorry, never mind. I'm taking back again. Happy birthday to not only Estelle. Happy birthday to
Estel, the Nina O Foundation and Consultancy for the Arts. That's my and my process company. That brings you Breakfast with the Stars. We'd like to wish you everything and anything that your heart desires in abundance.
And that which is good for you, may God send it to you in abundance. And that which is not good for you, may you keep it at a distance. May your life be filled with provision. May your deepest prayers and wishes that only He knows, may it come into fruition. May your life be protected by His hand always. Those around you, those who hold close to you, and those that will come after you. Inshallah. Yeah. Yes, please do. Saya basta harus may bagay. Yes, yes, 100%. 100%. That's it, 100%. Yeah.
All right.
Amen, hallelujah, everything.
Now, now,
This,
okay.
this my Oma.
As
Give us my
now,
Oma.
this is now the moment where I give you guys the opportunity. Is there a question that you want to ask? Ash.
Um, Thanks for a wonderful interactive session. You've obviously stood up to the high expectations because you obviously see it.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
you obviously grew up in a family that's well known in the arts. Obviously, there's big expectations. And your siblings, sisters, and everything. How do you deal with it? Because the people here and they still even know you creatively enough, even with this expectation that you know. So how do you deal with it? Because it's a huge expectation
It's a
from you.
massive expectation. I must be honest. And funny, my father was not, he was not pushing us towards the arts. He was pushing us away from the arts. And I actually got asked this the other day, is that how does it feel to live in the shadow? And I said, I did it, but the shadows come from big things, buildings, trees. So I see my father and my mother and the legacy that I carry and that I come from as big um, akkerbome, that provide shade. And if the sunlight is too harsh, you can go and stand under the shade. And when you're ready to face the sunlight again, you can just. So for me, it's not. The pressure exists, I must be honest. The pressure exists because people expect you to be larger than life, but there can only be one Tiny Peterson. There was only one Tiny Peterson. It's an unrealistic expectation to put on someone. And I think I've now reached the point where I can't rewrite that chapter. I can't. I can only do me. I can only do me. But the pressure and it definitely exists because people expect you to do.
On point.
They expect you to be super talented. They expect you. And a lot of people, and the misconception, and I want to use this platform to say this, is that people think because of who my father was, and because my mother is, opportunities just fell into my lap.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Miskin, oh, it's just like Lipsa doctor. They welcome to maybe have a conversation with you. But your talent, your hard work, your ethic, that is actually what gets you the job. If I was telling people since doctor Sally Smith, no, I enough to take me to this. If it was just because of that. So now, yeah. So I'm now at a point, and I think I've just reached that point maybe last week, where maybe last week that all I can do is be me. I can only do that.
Yeah, no, it's well done because it goes your own way. That's important.
No, brand, can I just stop you there? It's fun. Sorry, no, we can have this conversation because somebody asked me the other day because I pulled the third influencer. Oh, like affect for my
Yes.
affect for my I said I'm an influencer. But now an influencer like it affects me, man, because yeah, because what kind of influence do you have on people? What kind of influence do you have? My watch, is that the influence that I want to have on people? The places I go to, is that the influence? And the idea of brand for me is almost like a commodity. My groot ouers was slaves. Hulle was brands, commodities. So I hear what you're saying, but we must just, I'm going to tweak that word. I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to get back to you on that, yeah. But anyway, as you,
And also, all I'm just saying is, you can see that the people in this
yeah,
tower, you don't need this.
yeah, yeah,
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
yeah.
Um, um, and it's not to say that you don't teach what your father teaches. You're trying to build your own
Yes,
difference.
yes, yes.
Because at the end of the
Big
day,
footsteps, right? That's big footsteps to try and step in.
yeah, but it's great to see that you're doing something well.
Really, thank you so much.
This table here.
Yeah, no.
This table here. The rede hoekom ons hom aan kinders is because from the moment I started this show, they've been there every week. And there was times when I think to myself, it's lockdown and that's mense wat nie werk nie. And these people are taking their last bit of money to come and support us as artists. And so I always appreciate them when they come and they say, yeah, ons kom. I mean, sometimes I haven't even announced who my next guest is. Dan say hulle, ons het al klaar geboek al. And I'm like,
Yeah.
But you don't even know. You might not like the person that are bringing next time. But no.
No,
So
but that means a lot to you. Thank you so much. I also often get asked, do you think your father would have been proud of you? That's also a question that I get asked a lot. And for a long time, I wasn't sure because he wanted me to be, academics. That's what he wanted, just so chase that. And he was very, don't do drama, etc. And so I think with conviction today, but I don't think I know with conviction that he'd be proud. Because I went, thank you, I went to go and get the degree, got the qualification. I'm still getting to love my dream, but now I get to love my dream without having to be the key girl or the strap mate or the whatever. My face and me just being there is representation. It's opening doors for other people, doors that we try to open so that I can, and then I'm opening the door which more for the next person. So I say with absolute conviction that he will be proud. But to have other people say, because for me, I mean, my I was daddy's girl. Me and daddy, me and daddy.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, me and daddy. That if my dad would say, no, not in, not in
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
not in and not having had him ever say that because he passed away a month before my 21st, and never ever got the opportunity to have him say, "Nah, nah, 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 so to have a
no.
is that
No, because you know
yeah,
no. I've said this to you. I've said this to you. A lot of times, and I know I do it as well as a parent. You know, our idea in our heads of what we want our kids to do and become comes from our fears. You know, your dad, having been in the industry, have known how tough the industry is.
yeah,
I always say
yeah,
to people when they say to me, "Hey, but okay," and I say, "It's the toughest industry to be in. Prepare yourself to be as hard as nails. You need to be able to take rejection on a daily basis, sometimes 10 times a day.
well, animated,
And if you can walk out of every casting and every audition and go, you know what? I know they didn't like me. I have no clue why my agent sent me here. What am I doing here? Oh, it can die and it can feel bitter as but it doesn't. You know, if you can walk out and hold your head up high, you know, then by all means, come into this industry. But if you are not ready for it, you know, so for us as parents, we we want our kids to go and do something because we're thinking like our parents thought and our grandparents thought, kry jy 'n stable job.
yeah,
Gaan werk vir die government, gaan gaan
the
word 'n teacher,
teacher,
gaan word 'n nurse, because then you will have stability, you know.
yeah,
And but I will say this to you. I got to the point where I had to say, you know what, my kids is going to do whatever they want to. I can be a shoulder and say to them, if you fall down, here's my shoulder, come and crown it. And it would feel it. So it's okay, nothing.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm sure
Because that,
No,
that's,
but then
are
just
you hearing
having
it from other people?
that is, I'm saying,
Because
hearing it from other people
as your dad saying,
saying it. So
because
it's not that I'm
experiencing that
that
now.
exactly. So it's me having somebody give feedback. Um, and I try not to read the social media comments. I don't because I'm anti-bullying. I'm anti-unkindness. I'm anti. I don't know how else to say this, but I'm gonna say it live. Don't be a dress.
Yes,
That's all. Just don't,
that's the right way to say it.
yeah.
That's the right
So
way
I
to
try
say it.
not to read that. So I never get that. So to have somebody affirm a dream that I've always had. And we extra hard on ourselves when we watch our work back. I shouldn't have done that. I should have said that line different. But to have positive feedback, you have no idea how much it means to me because it's almost as if my dad would have said that. So it's touched. So thank you. No, thank you. I will never forget this moment. Thank you. Thank
I,
you.
I think
Thank you.
you need to check on board that. I mean, I've been in the arts for over 30 years, and Sidwin has been a bit longer than me. Denise has been a little bit longer than me. The net. There's so many people that have, and and all of us will always say to you guys that come into the industry now. We will always say to you, you know what? We are still learning because we realize that things change and you need to learn a new thing. You need to learn about new developments. Like I mean, when I started out, cameras was a film, and as you opmos, dan is jy groot moeilikheid because it's a
Wasted.
waste
Oh,
of film. It's money that gets thrown away. Now we're on digital format. Hulle is a bietjie meer okay. Now it's just a question of time, you know,
yeah.
things like that. So yeah, but we always learn, and we'll always get to that point where we're gonna go. You know what? Maybe I should have, but it's planned.
I know. We get two takes, so you get a rehearsal, one technical rehearsal to make sure that the cameras whatever. Then we do two takes, and that's it.
You're lucky if you get a third.
You lucky if you get a
Lucky.
third take.
Lucky.
Yeah,
Only if there was a major issue.
a major issue or mistake or whatever. But yeah,
Um,
any other?
there we go.
So just on that, how does technology influence the acting ability of our actors? Because I think that's what you're saying of the waste of phone. So the less things you need to do, the more phone you save. So your director or whatever expects you to get it right in let's say 2 days. Nowadays, there's, there's more artificial embellishment of your acting. Has that affect the stand?
No, I don't think. I think what the thing is, because with digital, we can do it again. Unless it's live, we can do it again. But because of HD, they pick up the smallest thing. So before you could get away with the pimple on your forehead, now it's in HD. All people can see is the pimple on your forehead. Yeah, so you can go back, and the reason why we do text is because it runs like a machine. From 9 till 9:30, we're doing the scene between Wade and Kashfa. 9:30, the next person must be on the floor. Da, 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 da. So it's a time issue. It's a time issue, I think, more than a technology thing. And at the moment, because you can't do face to face auditions, you're doing self tapes. So on your cell phone, you are recording your audition and you send it off. So you send it off. So that's oh, it's actually slim. But
Uh,
yeah,
it's the one thing that I hate doing is cell phones. I don't do it.
yeah,
I always say if you don't have the time to meet me face to face and get to know who I am, because I don't feel that me I do justice by going, all right, let me tell you who I am, blah 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 blah. Send it off. You know?
no, but the difficult for me is that if you're doing a scene and you must just respond, somebody else must read it in for you. So if you don't have somebody to read it in for you, all you're doing is answering. So it's a one, it might be silly.
Yeah.
It doesn't, yeah. So it is a bit challenging.
It's difficult. But
It's
with regards to technology, I think the only thing that technology has done for the arts, it's made it um, cheaper to do certain things. Back in the day when we had film, you know, we would rehearse a scene a couple of times, you know, so we have time to rehearse a scene a couple of times, and then they'll say, okay, we think you guys are ready to shoot now. Then they do a camera rehearsal, but the camera doesn't roll. So the camera just looks at whether the angles and everything is happy, and then they'll say, we're going for a take now. And most of the time, you have one take to get it right. With digital, we have a rehearsal, one rehearsal. And then they go, all right, let's go to the floor. And then they say, okay, let's quickly do a technical rehearsal then. Now you do a technical rehearsal, the cameras know where they need to be. Everyone happy? Yes. Right, let's shoot. and we shoot. And then you shoot all the way till the end of that scene. You go cut. All right.
Do that differently, you must that because what I always thought when you're watching it, when I used to watch Shangri-La, whatever, like you just walk quickly, but it's not look like gonna say even look, but even no.
Op die regte lyn
You
daar
have
verby ry.
so sê maar die lyn is, maar Justin, jy kan mos sien ek is besig. So when I start saying the line, my Justin, by the time I get to the word besig, moet ek daar wees. So you've got to time it, and then also as you double right tafel, you've got to stand in a certain way because camera three, you're on camera three. You can't just face any which way that you want to.
Yeah.
Things like as you inbreek was the Samsudeen to lounge and come. You can't immediately start speaking because the shadow of the room and it's gonna echo. So that's why it looks weird, but why are you only talking when you get to the counter? Because you have to so those kind of technical things that I used to think of coffee and look net and praat net. No. Jy word gesien till the last. Just net jy kan mos sien ek is besig stand there. Then when your next line is, gaan vra vir Bianca. On Bianca, then pick up the cup. Then
And if you pick up a cup
On the
on
rock.
a certain line, you as the artist needs to remember exactly when you picked it up and what your line
because
was.
in take two, but the worst thing is you can't make that mistake. Then. That you can't.
know where you gotta be.
Yeah, but you see, with live theater, with live theater, if I don't do something on a certain line, that's fine.
The people
That's
won't
fine. Because you as the audience is gonna see just that one performance. Môre aan doen ek presies dieselfde performance. Ek besluit môre aan. Look, I've worked with artists that would change a line, but hulle wil snaaks wees vanaand.
No.
So you, with a live
Don't do
performance,
that.
you've got to listen. You have got to listen.
But ek wag vir
All
sy
of the
lyn
time.
om my lyn te gee.
Yeah. So if the line is en toe het Pieter mos gekom man.
And I'm waiting for man.
Now
So that
I
I know I must come on.
no, but now I introduce the character Peter. Nou, David is Peter. Nou sê maar toe het John mos gekom. If you don't listen to what I say and you nou sê jy kan ook vir my sê praat jy van Piet,
Oh, praat jy
praat jy van Peter,
Peter?
praat jy van Peter. Hoekom spreek jy van John?
Ja.
You know, you can improvise. There's no camera there that's gonna go cut. Jy het opgemos, ons moet nou daai gedeelte sny, ons moet dit weer doen. You just continue. There is no moment where you can go in a live performance where you can go, okay, well, ek gaan nou stop.
That
Let's
wasn't
go
the line. That
back.
was not the line that you were supposed to know.
You just have to continue because your audience doesn't know. The nice thing with a live performance is, and I always say to, even when I have students, I would say to them, the nice thing is the audience will never know when you make a mistake. If you go, John, hey Peter, the audience is going to pick up on that. But if I go, hey, and took John Mosman, you're not going to know that it was supposed to be Peter because you've seen the play. Maybe if you've seen the play, as julle nou soos my oorlede ma was wat ek dink my ma het 20 keer kinkels in die kabel kom kyk. As jy 'n lyn gechange het daar by die 20ste keer dan sou sy gesê het. Want sy het net hy gestaan gesê nie. Hoekom het jy dit nou vanaand gesê? Okay. So I've worked with artists that did things like that. With film, it is this is what we want. This is how you will do it, and we will get it to that specific. Jy het nie nog 'n manier wat jy kan sê, ek wil dit doen. So yeah, and you also need to remember with live performances, we would have like 3 weeks of rehearsals, and we would till that. And look, rehearsals could start like 8 o'clock in the morning, and you could work until 11 o'clock at night. Right? Rehearsals, and you would be running it over and over again. Then you have your last week as a production week, where you will do all the technical stuff. Maak seker as jy uitstap by die deur en jy kom, hey Susie, wat gaan jy nou? Right? You rehearse that over and over and over again. you know, so that it becomes second nature. And then you just, you know,
Yeah.
with television, you only have like one rehearsal team, and dan moet jy dit koppie gebruik daar, of jy dit daar gebruik. And with that, we are lucky that we have a continuity person that watches the screen and mark notes. So as jy die koppie opgetel het by en toe gaan ons na die kamer toe.
Then only first finish the line, then sit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they will come to you and say, no, ons gaan nou weer sleep. Jy die koppie opgetel en toe, okay, en dan en toe gaan jy sit.
On your rechterhand.
Yeah.
On your rechterhand. You know.
Oh.
Your fingers were like this.
Yeah,
Your fingers
yeah,
were
they
like
will.
that.
If your finger was like that, they will say to
Your
you.
finger was like that.
Your finger was like that. Sometimes dapat jy jou vinger was so, jy maak na jou vinger so dan sê hulle, cut.
What does that do? Your
Dan,
finger.
dan sê hulle, and what do they say?
Finger.
Cut. Technical.
Yeah.
En dan sê,
What
okay,
was it?
een van die cameras,
What was
is 'n problem,
Cut
with
your
the sound. Dan sê hulle, wat van my vinger? My vinger is nog allemaal hier.
Yeah.
Then they will say, no, your vinger was so.
Hmm.
Oh,
And when you were filming during COVID, for example, if you put your mouth on the cup, go and use that cup again. So you also on your take some of your nerves to make sure that you don't mess it up. Because another cup needs to then be brought in because only you and because Kashipa worked in was best props all the time. My skin was coming off here for the amount of sanitizer. Every bill folder, every menu, every the board sanitized over and over and over again. Every time you hugged somebody, because we weren't allowed to hug, we weren't allowed, for example, Kashmir and Ryan's wedding. You couldn't shoot a wedding because you can't have more than 5 people in a scene. So if you remember that episode, Kashmir and Ryan, dan kom Carmen and Rafi. Dan loop hulle toe uit, dan kom Mrs. J and Muna. So you don't ever have more than 5 people in a scene. 5 people. You don't touch the stuff because of COVID. As if Kashmir hugs Imran, you are sanitized before and after the hug. So that, yeah, so those kind of challenges that we
yeah.
had to learn to
Welcome.
roll with the punches. And then if you don't dry the sanitizer off, I'm sorry, I copy your hand. It
Yeah.
happens.
Yes.
It happens.
Yeah.
So
It
those
is.
kind of things.
I
that
mean,
you-
even if you have a scene where you're eating something, yeah, you can imagine already for continuity. As I step hoender is en hy step hoender like so. En in die scene in vat jy die step hoender en jy byt. You can't put that chicken back and shoot in it. Because everyone knows what the chicken looks like. So you've got chicken on standby. Ek kon nou
And you ask how many chickens do you have, so you know how many times you can make mistakes. Because they've only got 2 chickens.
there was
So they can
ons het daar was 'n scene waar een in die sel inkom met die honde, die bokshoender. Nou skep, nou vra hulle my, so now are you happy to eat the chicken? It's fresh chicken, it was freshly made. If you are happy eating it, you shoot it that way you eat it. Nou sê, ja, die honde lyk aan so lekker, ek sal die honde eet. Kyk, nou met the different angles dat hulle nou sê hulle, we coming in for a close-up as well. We want to have as much on this one scene as possible. Hulle bring die honde, ek eet, bietjie. En arme plakkies is een van die ouens wat sommer
Yeah. And it's like it's
Because
line
we-
ahead.
plakkies
No,
het lyne.
because when you bite, you can't take too big a bite if you have
Because
a
you
line.
need to talk.
Because you need to talk. So you just bite the small stukkie, druk in die kant van jou mond, and then
Ja.
Maar hoele.
And this character was, because they're in prison, having the luxury of having chicken is like overwhelming for him, you know, even though he's rattling this bra.
Yeah.
So he bring hulle nou die honde en hy kyk die box, hy kom in 'n boksie in, maar dit lyk amper soos daai wat hy the Hungry Lion boksie amper. Ja, en hier kom hy en ek gryp die boks en sê, dankie, eet hom. Ja, nee. Ja, ek het so 2 stukke honde opgeëet en hulle, kat, right. vra hulle vir jou, dan nou, jy het dit so gelyk met jou hand in die boks gesit.
Unless I remember, was the pie on top or was the poachy on top also?
Nou vra hulle my, when you took it and you took a bite, wat het jy uitgehaal? Ek dink dit was 'n boutjie. Okay, ek kan nou, hier het so, as ek
At
camera
which
wat
angle was it
nou,
on?
nou vra hulle raak na die boks, so by sy poster, dan vra hulle die boks. Die directors is daar naby ons. Hulle is agter die boks. Nou wil sy vra ons,
One.
nou wil weer, kon jy hulle die net sien? Nee. Okay,
that's
okay,
fine.
okay, right, moenie worry nie. Sy sit dit net so dat jy dit kan gryp.
Yeah.
Ek het die ander huis. My vrou het baie lekker kos gemaak, maar ek was maar brava. Ek het geëet. I told to myself, I'm not saying that but things like that happen, you know. And so yes, during COVID it became extremely difficult for us.
Yeah.
You know, because even catering had to change.
Yes, everything was pre-packed. Boxes,
Alles
boxes.
het verander. Everything, our whole industry literally went to a standstill, and then we had to try and figure out a way of how can we get back. And so, like,
So when we filmed,
kissing scenes,
you see it hard.
huggings, gone.
Yeah, no.
Ek is surprised dat ons nie vir mekaar gewink het. Hy nou my skat, ek is so lief by jou. Dat moet be funny most probably.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Any other? Yes.
What does okay, so our department is a whole department in charge of the food. So because Kashmir works in a restaurant, there's a lot of food all the time. So there's certain things that must be fresh. So if somebody has to eat it in the scene, then it has to be fresh. But if it's just standing there, for example, the bread behind me kind of work for because a spiller pot, you don't need to
Spray.
to keep it. So it's just there on show, but it's food that needs to be eaten. Also, for example, because we also have Semana reshoots. We shot this on Friday. The producers watch it on Wednesday. They don't like that scene, we have to reshoot it. We still need that pizza. Then they put it in the freezer in case we need a reshoot. Then they put it in the freezer to keep it. Right, Douches? Never, I will wait. I'll have no eat but it's been too long was died Douches in the freezer. But it's been too long, but our art department is what they do is amazing, what they are able to do. So the food goes into the freezer, or it was in the scene. Like for example, if Bridget is hosting it from there, or was a jar, so you're not allowed to eat if it's required to eat it in the scene. Otherwise, because you must watch continuity, you must watch what's butter or make a boat in your hand, but not to actually eat anything. So you don't have to remember what did I eat, when did I eat this, whatever. And alhamdulillah, I said everything is allowed. They made everything allowed. So as soon as the cut clearance, the scene is done. Man, fuck the bullshit. Of the actors. Not going to ghost. Not going to forest. No.
If you see food that is not touched by an actor, it is normally artificial. It will be artificial food. It might be, for instance, what we'll do within the industry is if there's a braid, the braid gets sprayed to keep that shape and the look of that braid for as long as we can. So it goes into the art department and they can reuse that same braid in like 20 to 30 scenes. So they will tell you, when you come on set, don't eat the food. Then you go like apples, don't eat the apples. But then it's allemaal gesprayed so that they can last for 3-4 days.
But now it's amazing, like the milkshakes that Benny drinks, they make it there. You can drink it as the coffee, it's real coffee, it's warm still. You have, so
No. And the thing with coffee is, if you have a cup, they come and they fill your cup
just
till there. Right? So now your cup is there. Nou jy besig aan 'n film en jy vra, ja, kyk. Oh, okay. And two, yeah. Okay, cut, cut. Kom uit sir. Um, you need a top up? Ja, sir. Meneer het al die koffie. En ek is een van die actors wat sê, hallo, hoekom is julle koffie so flou, man? Hoekom gooi jy so baie water? Ek wil die koffie proe. Ek wil swart koffie hê. Gooi dit tot daar. And the reason why they give you hot coffee is so that when you film it, because we're shooting in HD, they can see the steam. So you try and make it as realistic as possible. Dan sê die mense, jy sien jy drink lekker koffie, né? Meeste van die tyd dan try jy om jou lippe nie daar by die koffie te kry nie, want jy check, is dit warm? Is dit te warm? Ja. Dat ook. Yeah. No, but I think with Aaron's play we are lucky because if that is your cup, you know, and your cup doesn't go out of your sight. Ek staan daar, niemand, hulle sal vir jou kom vra, can you hold your cup please, sir? Dan gooi hulle vir jou in, dan sê hulle vir jou, okay, happy? Yeah, happy. But a lot of things is changed because of COVID. Yeah. Yes.
Ja.
Stables. Is die om die draai?
Om die draai waar?
Nee, varkensvleis. Oh.
Varkensvleis.
Ja.
You come back to look and take a turn off to Gossip Park. You come straight down on the left-hand side.
Julle kom ja,
I just want to say thank you very much for having breakfast and for having us into my birthday. In our book, I didn't know whether this house is not very powerful or still up to the doesn't know to walk out. But because it's you, it was because of the Bible. My grandchildren and all of us. Opposite, nobody talks. That's outside the town.
Yeah.
Because
So, yeah. No. No, I don't have captain before on the pot, so yeah. Yeah. Oh, because I go tell me, ketchup. This is the part.
Die mense het my nou die dag gevra. Nou is Wesley en Leroy nou uit die storie en toe sê hallo. Julle nie, hulle is op honeymoon. Moenie sommer net my kinders uit 'n storie skryf nie, hulle is net op honeymoon. Ek sê maar bro. Het julle breakfast geniet?
Yes, what is his name? Eli. Hello, Eli. On
On
really?
Monday.
Are you sure you're not my child also? Yes, how old are you turning, Eli? You're turning 7. That means you are going to grade 1. In grade 1. So you're 6 turning 7 in grade 1. How smart are you? Very intelligent. I think so. Tell me, what award is this? Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, knap about gedaan. Well done. And then when you got the award, did you take a bow? Why not? You must celebrate us.
No, it was that moment. Of course, man.
Yeah.
But
But no, happy birthday for Monday, Eli. You're 7. Have you lost any teeth yet? How many? 2 teeth. Okay, so at least in the next year, it's going to be about 4. So there's how? How did you lose your? And then?
And we pulled it up. Laid on the kitchen counter, we held our hands and we pulled it up.
Just
No.
No. Was it not? You want? Nails like a tweezer, okay? And then doing it came out. So that means next year your school photo you're gonna have missing teeth. You know that. So everybody has a sub A or sub B photo with missing teeth.
Thank God.
They don't
All
have
right.
photos. Really, what school are you at? Tamahawk Primary in Plumstead, look at you. Oh, okay. Did you go to John Graham? No. Tamahawk. Okay, I know Tamahawk very well. Oh, but you can take one child at a time. They could have.
I
Tina, I think you must put in a petition because I see future leadership in you.
yeah.
I think start a movement. Stand up for your right to have a photo taken. Okay. You take it up to your teacher and get petitions and get as many signatures as possible. That's a good way to go.
You have it on camera?
Yes.
I can't see
Petition for the right to have a memory.
Yes.
Because this is your grade one. So you don't have a memory of being in grade one. What photo are they going to put up at your 21st? You got to fight for your right for your 21st photo.
I said, thank God there was a digital.
Yeah. Is there any other while I'm here? Any other nothing? Nothing. Nothing.
I want
Time-
to show
time.
you something and I want you to react.
Sorry, I'm gonna keep coming.
No,
Okay,
because
let me
we're
just.
talking about
Yeah. It's
6 months. Get excited zodra sy voorstel opkom. Hey, ek verstaan jou.
when they with a clock says excited. Oh, it is too good.
All right.
Yes, sorry, I had a question. Yeah.
Was you and your sister get a lot of commentary about Western and people who looking alike.
Look
Very
alike.
much alike. Right?
Very much
Because
alike.
we were watching Melody.
Yeah, Leslie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told I'm watching this there.
Natasha Susumari.
Okay, no, you can see.
Yeah.
There's a big agenda from the
Yes,
you know.
there is.
And it's also nice to see she was a particular arts.
Yes. Yes.
And stuff like that. And I think, you know what, it's so nice people like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just thinking like you guys will just communicate as well.
No, we get it all the time. We get it all the time. I remember there were photos on some fan that puts on this like what's the page? Oh, that was stunning essay, blah blah blah, beautiful, beautiful. And then that was my sister. That was my sister. So I took all the compliments because they thought it was me, but I took it. Yeah. So she's currently in a musical at the Artscape at the moment. Tonight, I'm actually going to see it tonight. So yeah, so my brother was the musical director. He's the musical director. My mother is the co-director, and my sister's one of the lead actors. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. Ladies and yes.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I get.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I get that a lot, and a lot of people always ask me, despite all the things that you went through in your life, and the murder and the whatever, how do you remain positive? The thing is, it's hard. It comes at a price because there are days where it's not easy. There's days where it's not liquor. There's days where you, as a human being, are sad. You're going through stuff. I lost both my parents-in-law in the space of 5 weeks, and now to COVID. Um, I had COVID myself, and then they just never survived. It is hard to remain positive. It is hard to look at the sunny side up every day, but at least you make the effort and you remind yourself of the blessings. So it's a constant. You consciously have to make the decision. You have to make the decision because the world is not fair. Because life wasn't meant to be fair. It's not. You get unkind people in the world. You get, but to make the choice of that's what it is. Make the best that we can. Life doesn't always give you a winning hand. Sometimes you got to bluff your way through it. Sometimes, but you just keep playing. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Um, Yeah, ladies and gentlemen,
And Eli.
and yeah,
Our future leader.
Yes.
um, this is the moment where I say thank you to you guys for being here. I always say that if it's not for you, we wouldn't have work.
Mm.
So we appreciate the fact that you still watch and still enjoy, and hopefully soon you can be going to the theaters. You know, it is tough. I know a lot of people is scared about going to theaters and going to places like this. You know, and yeah, we've been made to be afraid. You know, they have forced us to be afraid of each other. And I'm glad that you were not afraid to come here today and spend some time with us. Thank you. Thank you for your time, for your love, for your energy that you brought. I do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And then to my guest this morning, right? I've said it during our chat, but you are amazing.
So much.
You are. And if you, yes, testimony, you know, everyone that is here enjoys what you're doing, and I know it's tough in our industry. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep remaining the amazing person that you are, and giving your brother a hard time every now and then.
Yes.
I know you
Yes,
do it.
because it is. So
I
yeah.
know you do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I word inakasay dan sine ko sana da save me. You know, but yeah, you know, and we as South Africans are so proud that you are doing what you love, and may you continue to do what you love, and have fun. I always say, as long as we have fun,
Yeah.
we have fun with it,
Yeah.
and that is the best part about our jobs is we go out there, we go and have fun. My vrou sê altyd, sy kan nie verstaan nie. Sy weet wanneer ek gaan werk, want ek staan op. Ek klim in my kar en ek ry, ek sing heelpad werk toe en when I walk, most of my colleagues would say to me, you know what? When we see you, you have this big smile on your face and you're always happy and you're willing to chat and you're willing to answer questions and everything up until you go home. And I go like, well, I'm grateful that I'm here.
I think I was gonna say I think we're living in a time of absolute. I wake up every morning with so much gratitude in my heart. So much, yeah, so much gratitude. Sorry, off my back. So much gratitude in my heart in that not many people get to live their dream. Not many people get to do something that they're passionate and they love and that and that God chose it to be part of my plan. When so many of my colleagues and so many of my peers are jobless and without work, um, I can be nothing but grateful and appreciative and thankful. So it's about the storytelling. It's about being in a position to make a change. It's not about how many photos and how many followers and whatever. Oh, that means like if nothing was something less than that is what it means. It's the ability to wake up every morning, to make a difference, to be a difference, to symbolize change, and to get paid to live your dream. So how can you not be positive and grateful?
And have fun.
I can wake up and I could have lost my leg. So the fact that I can get up every morning and stand on both my legs and walk to my car is just how can I not be grateful? How can I not? Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you for joining me.
Having me.
Thank
For
you.
having me. I and I think the oaths.
There's
Yeah.
certain things that I remember from way
Yeah.
back, and I've got a very good friend of ours, Nurdin.
Yeah.
And Nurdin would say certain things, and then I would say something, and then we go,
Oh.
you
Yeah.
know. But yeah, even my Xhosa, you know, and bear in mind, the bit of Xhosa that I remember or that I know is from studying because I studied at New Africa
Yeah.
I was in the same year.
Okay.
You know? So sees where there's a number of we were only 15 students, and I was the only um, person, non-person speaking person. So the first thing they taught me was swear words.
Always. Why do we do this? If foreigners come, the first thing they learn to say is your master. Why do we do this? Why do we do this?
No, the worst thing was
Yeah.
the I think there was out of the 15 of us, I think there was 5 girls, and the boys would usually say to me, "Learn this word. Now go and say it to that girl there." And you go and say it to them, and they would smack you.
Yeah.
And take you, by girls, is allemaal veel beter. It was my klein. I think I was the smallest out of all the students, you know. So dan word jy, "Oh, wie dan gaan jy terug dan praat jy back. Ek nou net gesê,
Should have asked that before you went to say.
no, no, no,
You
no.
asked the translation
Look, they,
before.
they just go, they will just like, this was iemand weer say, "Want jy wat hy nou,
Yeah.
you know?" So you go and you go like, yeah.
Okay.
Jy weet mos nie wat jy sê nie, maar dit klink so mooi. Is soos iemand gesê het French, you know, as jy French wil sê iets leliks, jy kan dit kyk op radio. And in the meantime, look at you, you know. So
Yeah.
sometimes things like that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for being received in this way.
Ons breakfast.
Yeah, nie ek gaan barakat vat because if you can
Okay.
start for my
Yeah,
bacteria.
no, that's no
They
problem.
could not care less. People asked them, "Oh, is your mother cash?" Yeah, they could not, and I love it that way, and I think that's how it should be.
I will
That's
just
how
say
it
to
should
you,
be. So they are patiently waiting for me.
my grandson has seen dat sy oupa, die oudste grandson, hy sê ja. En hy het gesien sy oupa het 'n YouTube kanaal.
Ah.
Toe bel hy sy ouma.
Ah.
En hy sê vir sy ouma, Granny, do you think Noah will have you on his show? And sy ouma sê, ja. En toe sê sy my, I think Noah has got a lot of money because he's got his own channel.
Yeah.
Dink by myself, come on, nou 'n plan maak met die klomp.
Yeah.
Maar hulle is in Kuwait, so
Okay.
I'm gonna try, and one day when I've got the money,
So,
you know, with a
yeah.
screen hierso waar ons kan live stream met hom en iets soos dat. Right.
Yeah.
But this is the moment also when I tell you guys about who my next artist is. Now, next week I'm not having a show. And the reason is that a movie that I was involved in, they called me into the dialogue coach and script supervisor for it. And they can say, "Thank you, but I'll come and do it for you." And the movie won a SAFTA award. Yeah, it's called Address Unknown.
Oh, Bianca Flanders.
Yes,
Yeah.
Address Unknown. And I literally went in for one day and I said, "Listen, you need to. Ek gaan vir julle die goed gee nou, because you need to." And then they needed another actor in there, and I went, "Kry vir Ishaq en Ishaq gaan kwaai wees hierso. Ek dink hy sal dit mooi wees." And they actually did. So I'm really excited. I am so happy.
Wat gaan ek by te doen?
Nee, maar
I'm joking. Yeah. Yeah, I'm joking.
thank you for saying something. But so the producer gave me a call and said to me, "I just want to get you all together next Saturday and just thank you, and we'll be bringing the trophy so you guys can see the trophy and just to say thank you." So that's what I'm doing next week. Right. And then on the 30th, we will be here again. I'm hoping to do a double bill for the 30th. So I can confirm one of my artists for you right now. It is Uncle Johnny Van Aran. Yeah. So he's gonna be one of my guests, and I'm waiting on another one to confirm with me, because I had the other one that was gonna be here on that day has cancelled as I drove here this morning. So I'm going to hoping that someone else is going to But I will in this week let you know who my other guest is going to be for the 30th. And for the people watching us online, it be does now. I've got my loyal northern suburbers here over here, but I'm planning on a venue in the northern suburbs. So watch this space. All right, we will let you know. I'm thinking most probably once a month, northern suburbs once a month, southern suburbs, um, and yeah, and those people that have said, someone in Pretoria said they've got a stoop. Just let me know when you've got the money to fly us.
Yeah.
I know you said you're working on it, so I'll watch it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. Yes. Sy hardloop gou toilet toe, moenie paniek nie. Dankie julle. Libs, hoe kan jy so stil daar? Jy praat nie baie nie, maar dit is and you know what? They only slow down. I literally will be walking the house. All I have. Yes, ma'am. Literally, it was like that. My covered like that. Oh my God, like that. And I said, Alex, you get from the phone.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's like 2 hours. This is my old dreams. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes.
On Monday when you're gonna come and see me,
Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else?
Yes, yes. Let me just